Welcome, everybody, to the City of Isani City Council meeting for Tuesday, December 17th. Is there any citizen input? No citizen input? Then I'd like to call this meeting to order. If we could all rise for Pledge Allegiance. Doing roll call, all city council members are present at this time. I'm pretty confident that we have a modification. Ms. Wood?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We do have an agenda modification, which is to add in another batch to our AP report in the amount of $4,658.70 for a grand total of $242,117.46, and that is for K1.
Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda with the modification?
Second.
Motion to adopt the agenda with the modification by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Burgley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Approval of the city council minutes for December 3rd, 2019, which was a regular meeting of city council, October 1st, 2019, Economic Development Authority, and November 5th, 2019 Economic Development Authority.
Make a motion to accept. Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Announcements. City office is closed Tuesday, December 24th, all day in observation of Christmas Eve. Wednesday, December 25th, in observation of Christmas Day. Wednesday, January 1st, in observation of New Year's Day. And a city council meeting will be Tuesday, January 7th, 2020 at 7 p.m. EDA meeting will immediately follow the city council meeting. Are there any council committee reports?
Yeah, fire district meeting we had last Wednesday, that the joint powers agreement that we signed and delivered to the city, to the fire district, was tabled till next month due to one of the entities of not understanding what we're doing there. Mayor attends all meetings along with me as a citizen, and he knows of our frustrations of 99% of the board even frustrated with this thing. So just a little background on that. That was a kennel fire that happened over in Oxlip, and Oxlip, one of their, he's a board member, I believe, is fighting this thing tooth and nail.
Yeah,
And-
Mr. Mike Miller.
Yeah.
That's on the Oxford Township Board. He's fighting a tooth and nail, I think, because he's a little miseducated, so they're asking for another month to educate him.
And they want their board to have it open.
Unanimously pass it.
And they actually want the residents to vote on it, which is in their January meeting or something. I don't know what it is, but they did say that they would have a definite answer at that time. Unfortunately, the joint powers agreement, anything on that vote has to be unanimous. So one person says no, the whole thing falls aside. And it's really not a good thing. It needs to get passed and pushed through. And basically, it's cleaning up all the amendments, and it's getting all cleaned up and put into one instead of having 20 amendments to one agreement. It'll be just one solid agreement, and it's the mouth of what's going on. And the teeth is the next one, which that could be a year-long battle, but we need this mouth part done first before we can proceed with the next step. So it's frustrating to the firemen, to the chief, and all the powers to be there. And believe it or not, it's not the other ones that have always fought the whole thing on the joint powers agreement are all in favor of. They're the ones that are pushing for this just as bad as we are. So Oxlip is delaying it, so we just hope that, fingers crossed, that we got a 50-50 chance of it still happening, so.
Keep us posted, Councilman Lundin. Moving on to the business items, unless there's any other? None? All right, moving on to the business items, a resolution authorizing police department to accept the Knights of Columbus winter coat donation for children in need. I'm pretty confident the city has done this for a number of years, and I'm grateful they want to keep going. While we do have Rick in the audience, I see. Rick, would you like to step up and say anything on behalf of the Knights of Columbus, sir?
Well, we've been doing this for roughly about 6 years, maybe even 7. Taking care of children, orphans, and widows has been one of the founding principles on the Knights of Columbus Way for many, many years. And at first, people said that the city of Isani and the county doesn't really need this kind of support and help. So years ago, I contacted Chief Hill, and he got me in touch with Adam Gow, and Adam assured me that we need coats. So we've been doing it ever since, and I've been trying to get 2 to 4 boxes of coats for the kids every year. There was one year where the Supreme Council actually added, they copied our order. So I had actually four boxes one year.
These are all brand-new coats, right?
They're brand new coats. What happens is the Supreme Council makes a deal. They go out to the garment manufacturers and they get their best deal for coats for this year, for a year. And then we're allowed, with our funds or whatever we want, we purchase them through Supreme Council at discounted rates, cheaper than what you can buy them in the stores, very discounted. And then it's up to us to distribute them and take care of them. And one of the things that other councils have done, and we've tried to do, is partnership up with the police departments, because they see the kids, they see the people that need them more so than even what we do.
Especially our SRO, he would be number one in knowing all that.
Mm-hmm. And it gives them a good plus, a good feeling with the people and with what's going on, and a little bit of PR, and it helps us too. It gives everybody a positive attitude of what's going on. And we ask that you guys accept the coats again this year, and hopefully we can keep it going for many years plus.
I agree. From what I know, it's a great program. I myself am 100% behind you, and I thank you for everything that you do, sir.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Do you have a goal set at all?
Pardon me?
Do you guys have goals set at all, like for this year compared to last year? How many coats you trying?
We've got,
'Cause I'm sure every year you probably run short.
yeah, we try to do I try to do 4 boxes of coats. I give 2 to St. Francis and 2 of them up here. This year, St. Francis actually refused them. They said they had an overabundance of coats in there. So we found a place in Cambridge, and we donated 2 boxes of coats up there. We try to do 4 boxes every year,
How many coats
If
are in a
I'm-
box?
26 coats.
Yeah.
So one year, and like I say, every once in a while, the Supreme will pick somebody out and they'll match coats. And one year I ended up with 150 coats that we distributed in the community.
Have you noticed that like within our community here, or maybe the chief can answer that too, has there been a shortage of even after you've supplied the coats?
That I don't know how.
Chief, do you know the answer to that?
Well, I know year to year it does fluctuate on the need, and it's all dependent on, we do utilize our school resource officer, Gow. Part of the reason behind that is we do it kind of anonymous, so that there's no stigma of who gets the coats or where they go to. Some years there's a stronger demand, and like this year there's not as strong a demand as there was last year, for whatever reasons that we found. We'll probably find enough need for the coats that were donated, but the need wasn't as strong as it was. I know last year there was a stronger need, so not sure why that fluctuates. Might just be with the year or whatnot.
I do know that, I used to get, all different sizes and, mix it up in different sizes. And then a couple years back, Adam got to me and said, we don't need the small ones, we need the bigger ones. So that's what I've been getting lately, is try and match it, what they're looking for and what he needs and what he sees in the community. And, I was just talking with, over there, and we, discovered that there's a need for things like snow pants, things which I'll have to raise money up differently because that's not something that the Supreme does, but maybe we can push something like that through. So we'll see what we can do next year.
Awesome. Again, I appreciate your due
Great
diligence
service.
there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I make a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion to accept by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Rick, can we have you actually step up here? We'll take some photos. Chief, you as well.
I was going to ask you another question, if I may, and if you don't want to answer, that's fine. What's the cost of one box? If someone wanted to step up and help you purchase an extra box from the council?
If you guys were to pay for us,
If, like a business in town want to step up, per se,
And pay for
and
purchase a box.
purchase a box from,
For you to
help you to
distribute.
purchase up
I'd have to look at the bylaws and see if that's allowed. But
a
it's
cash
about-
donation, basically, it'd allow you to buy more from the council.
Yeah.
I just,
I'm
curious
not sure, I'd have to look at the bylaws and see if we allow stuff like that. It's generally, it's a donation into the Knights of Columbus, but not a, you can't
Specific.
specify it.
oh, okay.
But I'll look into it. Okay.
Thanks.
If you could, that'd be awesome, sir. Thanks again. Do we all want to take a photo? Sure. Or we just want the chief and him? Who it pertains to, or all? We can all do it, I don't care.
Jump in there, the more the merrier.
Put your feet in your face, let's get in this picture.
Let the chief soak up all the glory.
You and me, I think this is you.
Well, I'd say we just let the chief and Rick do it.
Dean and his chicken.
You gotta shake his hand though, you know, like, there you go.
Like you like.
Forward.
Get out of the picture. No, you can't. It's in your shirt.
Chicken.
Look at it, oh my word. Not even look at it, somebody, look at it, somebody. Look at it, look at it. Oh. All over here, so. I don't care, you don't care, not the mayor. You know, it doesn't-
Should hand him a coat to,
Bring him here, please.
Paul's picking on me, Lisa.
She don't care.
They weren't done, Paul.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know he had, I didn't know the pictures, so I saw people walking away, so I thought we were done.
they already took the picture.
You have to far there.
I know, but they're taking another one. I sit down now.
No.
Thanks again, Chief Myers and Rick. Moving on to the ordinance amending City Code Chapter 445 zoning ordinance Section 16 signs. Ms. Wood.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So as was discussed at Committee of the Whole, this is an amendment to the Chapter 445 for section of signs. And this is to clarify that the sign area will include the face of the sign, not all the faces. So it isn't to be misleading that there would be multiple signs counted in the area of the sign.
Make a motion to accept.
I'll second it. Motion to accept by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Gordon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Resolution authorizing engineer service for 2020 storm system maintenance project. Mr. Cook.
Yeah, Mayor Johnson, members of the council. So this is to just continue the annual maintenance program that got identified back in the study in 2015, where we reviewed all the storm aprons and ponds in town to see what needed maintenance to get us in compliance with the MS4 program. If you recall last year, if you go to the first figure in this, we actually ended up combining 3 years together, and it completed three-fifths of the entire program. This coming year was slated to be the culverts along Whiskey Road on the west side of town, but after looking into it, most of those culverts are actually sitting a half a foot to a foot below the ditch bottom because the ditch has actually filled in. So I contacted the county to find out what their timeline was on any kind of ditch maintenance. And while their response was they don't currently have a schedule for that work, I guess I was inquiring whether they'd be interested in a kind of a combined project or a cost sharing to kind of improve that entire system and get our culverts working. And while it's not budgeted and, at this time, to get a little more time to kind of try and coordinate that, I guess I'm recommending we switch to the 2021 maintenance year. There wasn't a specific reason for this segment being before or after the other. It was just to break down the overall system. So there isn't really a need to do one versus the other, and to buy more time, I'm just recommending we switch to the northern region of town this coming year. So I guess this is basically requesting the approval for engineering services to take the project through design and construction as we did last year.
Make a
Any-
motion to accept.
Second.
Any questions or comments on that before we move forward?
The drainage is bad. Whiskey Road.
It's done every, like how often of a rotation is it done? I mean, is it,
No, so what happened was we'd never done any.
okay,
Just a couple years ago, we became an MS4 community, and in preparation of that requires us to do a little more system maintenance to make sure we're not discharging pollutants, we're making our system work properly, and we have to monitor a lot more things. And so our initial review of our entire system found a substantial amount of things that had never been maintained, had been kind of sediment built up, clogged, completely full pipes. And this first pass, we turned into a 5-year program just so that the price per year wasn't excessive. And we created that stormwater utility fee to be able to cover these costs and other MS4 related things. But once we get through this 5-year program, and we've already done 3 out of the 5, then it'll just be visual inspections of these things, and then the anticipated costs after next year will be substantially less, and it'll only be isolated things that are identified that have become, sediment filled, or a pond that might need to be dredged. But right now, it's just trying to get the system fully functioning again. So this cost, it should more or less end and come substantially down after next year.
okay.
And also, so you know that before, those ponds were on private property, and the homeowner, the person who owned the property was supposed to maintain them. It never got done. So they had to go in and take out all the brush and the weeds and the garbage and clean the garbage out. So that's what it ended up being. When we became the MS4 city, we had to take them over.
Okay, all right. Well, that makes sense. I just was curious.
Which we are rated a highly numbered MS4 city, might I add.
Okay.
All right, any other questions, comments, concerns? With that being said, I had a motion to accept by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Burgley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Resolution authorizing engineering services for the 2020 pavement management project. Mr. Cook?
Okay, so this one will be a little shorter and faster. Same topic. This is our annual maintenance program that was identified back when we did our pavement evaluations, and created a 10-year program, at which point we are on our, I believe, 3rd year of going through our system of streets that were identified as needing maintenance prior to being too failed to perform maintenance, where you'd have to do larger projects to rehabilitate them. And so just to continue along our identified program, the northeast region of town, basically east of 65 and north of Heritage, those streets would be evaluated for either a mill and overlay or a seal coat. So this proposal is to do the engineering services to evaluate that and create the plan, take it through bidding and construction.
It's kind of like the maintenance program package you get, on your appliances.
That's right, getting ready for the 2020 year.
Any questions, comments, or concerns on this item?
That seems like such an odd spot to spend all that money on. There's hardly any traffic over there, and I drove it around, and, there's,
A lot of times it doesn't have anything to do with the count of traffic. It has to
Yeah.
do with the road cracking, crumbling, falling apart.
it's in
Once you
pretty
get
good
one
shape.
crack and it's not sealed, turns into a big
It is,
pothole.
but we need to keep it in that shape.
Yeah, I guess we
Yeah.
want to keep it in good shape.
Correct. I can get you the pavement evaluation study that we'd done, but the cost, like this whole region, like you're saying, is in fairly good condition.
Yeah.
It's just right on that line to do seal coat, which is only dollars on the square yard versus a mill and overlay, which is, another decimal point more in cost if we tried to wait longer.
Sure.
And the life expectancy, out of the seal coat that we'll probably be doing on the majority of this, is gonna buy us that, 5-8 years, at which point, we'll have to evaluate it again, but maybe we can get by with yet another cheaper maintenance to extend the life of it to end up spending less money.
Okay,
And that's the purpose of the study and
That's the whole
the
idea.
purpose of this maintenance program.
sure.
It's the appliance maintenance program, you get out of mini
Who
Gasco.
makes because when I'm driving over it, I'm learning still, obviously. I haven't been on council as long as you guys, and I don't know as much about it, so these may be silly questions, but, who makes the plans? We've got a 10-year plan. Does Bolton and make that plan for us? So they go out and find work to keep them busy for 10 years and basically, right?
So, basically, not in that format,
You know
but
what I'm
yeah.
saying? I mean-
So we were hired to do the study back in, I believe, 2015 also, to evaluate the roads. Actually, a city staff member from the Public Works Department did the street evaluation to rate the pavement condition, at which point that just got ranked into a program of what roads need what maintenance when. And once that was identified and categorized, the number of years to spread the maintenance over of what was identified was evaluated also on whether or not we had enough, roads that needed maintenance prior to a failure condition, like what can we catch before we're gonna spend a lot of money? And it was identified that a 10-year program on the cost, that the city was ready to spend was the optimum goal. After this program is underway, essentially what we were recommending is every 5 years, you reevaluate the pavement conditions, and then you can adjust accordingly on whether or not we're getting ahead of it, where we can maybe cut back on how much we're doing, or, maybe we're finding that our seal coats aren't lasting as long as we'd wanted.
Or
and
you're
we
not
can
doing
evaluate
enough.
Changing to a different type of maintenance.
What-
But that study essentially was, yes, we created the study, and the goal of the study is to save the city money, but that is, essentially how
But
it
you've
goes.
seen those plans, have you not? I know we've discussed them before.
Yeah, I think I'm familiar with the idea of what we're doing, but I'm just curious about it as well. So to me, it looks like it's in, but I don't know that much about it, so that's why I'm asking. So
Well-
to me, it looks like the cul-de-sacs are in rough shape, and there's one pothole in front of Flagship Bank, and, I don't see why we couldn't just have our Public Works go out and, fix the
Patch it.
pothole, and, nobody's driving on the cul-de-sacs in the residential area anyway, and, they're not paved the same
If
way
you
as
walk
the rest of
the
street,
streets, you'll
but-
actually see all the cracks.
You think, yeah?
It
And
takes
that's
a
where the problem comes in. Water
It's
gets
just
in
the
there,
cracks
freezes,
get-
crack
okay.
gets bigger.
16th
That needs
inch
to be
crack,
Sealed up.
gets any moisture in there and then it freezes, it just pops that asphalt up just like this.
Okay.
It's
See, that's-
huge.
That's all I'm wondering, is I don't know that much about it, so I just, to me, just as somebody that doesn't know anything, it looks like it's in pretty good shape, and, why spend the money on that, but, yeah, right.
As it was stated before, the only dumb question on this council is an unasked question, so shoot away.
But, yeah, no, that's all I was curious about, but no, I'm on board with that, if it's, preventative maintenance, and we're gonna save money overall, then that makes sense, so,
Is that a motion to accept, Councilman Gordon?
sure, yeah. it's-
I'll second it.
I have a motion to accept by Councilman Gordon and a second by Councilman Lundin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Resolution of the 2019 Sack and Whack Deferral Program. Ms. Selman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a program that we created in 2015 to defer SAC and WAC payments. So far, we've done them on single-family homes. Basically, it defers their payment until they are issued a building permit, and they do their payment at that time. So it's a per building permit payment instead of all at once with the developer's agreement. We also did recently approve that for the Prairie Senior Cottages, although we don't have a developer's agreement with them yet, so that amounts to be determined. This is something that's been approved every year by council, and I'm just asking the council tonight if this is something we just want to approve indefinitely, so I don't have to come back every year and ask you to approve this program, or if you'd like it still to come back every year, because the program technically expires December 31st of 2019.
I make a motion that she just keeps working the program. I don't think she should have to come back and ask us until we can't afford to do it anymore.
I have a motion to accept the program and continually keep going,
I'll second that.
and I have a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. I do want to add to, I should have probably did this in a council committee report, but I did talk to Mr. Matt Lindholm today. I was curious on how many housing permits were issued within the city of Isani. 79 have been issued, 2 still in the works. We're looking like we're going to crack 80 for the 3rd year in a row. At this point last year, we had 84, so we're only 4 behind. We're doing pretty good, right on track.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Burgley to approve the consent agenda and a second by Councilman Lundin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Burgley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
We stand.
Motion carries, therefore we stand adjourned.